Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Bitcoin update. And today I'm in a nightgown, okay? Because no one can stop me. And because I'm celebrating. And the reason I'm celebrating is because the start of a great August is here for the markets. And by great, I mean volatile, because traders make money in volatility. And that is what we're going to be seeing in August. And a volatile August. We've seen massive compression, okay, during the months of July, during the months of June, during the months of even May, and even a bit of April, we saw massive compression. We've seen the lowest volatility we've seen in a very long period of time. And now August has come and everything has come into fruition. And we've seen that perfect storm. And we've just seen the first move of August. Now, this is something we've been talking about for a few days now. The big August on the way, Bollinger Bands compression, all that kind of stuff. It's all come to a T. It's all come to a head. And we're really starting to see the start of that August. We've seen a breakout to the upside this morning, just as I woke up, looking at my charts and looking at that breakout. Just made me happy, just made me joyful. Not because of the direction. I don't care about the direction. The volatility is what's great. And that's what we're going to look into today. The volatility, the recent move, and the great monthly candle close that we saw, as well as looking at a Wyckoff accumulation pattern. And seeing whether that's had effects on Bitcoin and whether that will continue to have effects on Bitcoin. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the nightgown, don't care. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, guys, let's get straight into it. And let's be very clear here. I don't want to be overly deceptive or anything like that. I don't think that we've seen the necessary confirmation at this point in time to say that we're going to perhaps break above major resistance such as this red box here. We certainly haven't seen that level of confirmation. But what we have seen, okay, we'll get into the short term in a second, because the short term is a different story at this point in time, and the short term has been driven by a certain event that's occurred. But what we have seen at this point in time that's actually very good is a great monthly candle close on Bitcoin. So let's go to the monthly chart. I don't know why it took me so long to find it there, but let's go to the monthly chart, and we can see that we had massive, and we still have massive Bollinger Band compression on the monthly. We'll look at that in just a second here. What we can look at right now, and what is the most important thing that's happened on the chart in the last 24 hours, in my personal opinion, is this, 48 hours, I should say. We had a bullish monthly candle close right above that red line support. As you can see, a beautiful support flip there, and the monthly candle has opened again. It hasn't registered on this chart because we're on the BLX, but the monthly candle is open again, and we're right now seeing the open of the monthly candle right above that red line, and we should be seeing this hold for support in the future and go upwards from here. That monthly candle flip is excellent. Now look, if we're looking at historically and what's happened on the monthly chart, we have a clear cyclical trend in terms of structure in how these bull markets and bear markets form. What we have, and what I've identified, is we form a bull market support line, right? Halfway through the bull market, we form a support line, we bounce off of it consistently. When we lose that line, we go downwards rapidly, and we form a bear market support line in yellow, as you can see, and that marks the bottom. That happens in every single cycle. We've seen it 3 times now, marking the bottom. Obviously, we saw a slight deviation below it in the 2022 cycle, but that's okay. We've seen wicks below it in the past. I will happily say that is a justifiable fake out, and we went above it as per the date range trend, and right now, as per what we've done in previous cycles, which is basically find the red line for resistance for a brief period of time and then go above it and go upwards from there, which is what we did in both 2016 and also 2018. Find it for resistance for a brief period of time. If you zoomed in, you could see that, and then go above it, right, and then go upwards from there. And we've done it again in this cycle. We've found it for resistance for a brief period of time. For around 3 months, it acted as quite strong resistance during the months of March, during the months of April, and during the months of May, and we actually went above it on this recent green candle in July, and now we've come down in June. We went above it in June, we've come down in July, we've tested it for support, we've held it for support, and we should, technically speaking, be going upwards from there. Now, that's not to say, okay, let's be very clear here. That's not to say that Bitcoin is destined to go straight upwards until the bull market top in 2025. That's not what I'm saying at all. We could very well see, and we don't really know what we're going to see, but we could very well see something exactly like what we saw in 2019, where we see, a couple months of green and then a lengthy consolidation, and then start going upwards, in late 2024 or mid 2024, or even early 2024, right? Just consolidation for the rest of the year. It's not, not to say that we go upwards straight up from here for every single month until 2025. That's not what we're saying at all, and that certainly doesn't need to happen. That is what happened basically in 2015, 2016. But that doesn't need to happen this time at all. And it's also worth noting that in 2015, 2016, we took a significant amount more time to reach the red line and break above it than we did in this cycle. So we're doing it a little bit earlier than what we did in 2016, 2015, and we're doing it a little bit later than what we did in 2019, which would explain the fact that, you know, in 2016, we went upwards straight away. In 2019, we took a while to go upwards because we broke above the red line so early in 2018, 2019, and we broke above it so late in 2015, 2016. So we didn't really have much time to go upwards, so we had to do it faster. And in this cycle here, we had so much time that we just consolidated for a while. Right now, we're kind of somewhere in the middle. And so, I mean, you know, basic logic, although not very accurate in a mathematical sense, would suggest that we see some sort of consolidation, but not as long as we did over here, and we see some sort of upwards, but not as sharp as we did over here. That would be the basic logical reasoning, based on the amount of time it's taken to get above that red line from the yellow line bottom. I don't know if that makes sense, but it certainly makes sense to me. And with that said, we can move forward from the monthly candle. You can move forward from the monthly chart. This is something we've focused on so significantly for many, many months now. But assuming that this red line has finally been conquered, and assuming that we don't drop below it again, it's very important that we don't do that, by the way. We will keep an eye on it, but assuming that we don't drop below it again, it's not actually going to be very relevant to us anymore, because the only thing that's really relevant on the monthly chart in terms of the next real step is this downtrending RSI line here. There's a very strong downtrending RSI resistance line, and right now, as we've conquered this red line for support, provided we hold that, the next real thing we need to be looking out for in terms of resistance in the monthly chart, honestly, is this yellow line on the RSI, and that could be many, many months away before we even get close to testing that, or potentially even years. We also have the support line in the RSI, by the way, downtrending, and obviously if we see some bearish threats start to occur, then we can start looking at that for support. But right now, the monthly chart is becoming less and less relevant to us as we hold support. It's great stuff that's happened there, and we can move forward from it. So what's next in this video? I want to give you guys macro context to this current short-term move before we even look into it, because the short-term move we've seen hasn't really progressed enough for us to say anything too major about it, other than the fact that we're breaking out. And so I'm giving you context here about as to where we are on the market, where we are in the cycle, and I'm going to be looking at the 3-day chart, which is very, very important. We're seeing a very important pattern in the 3-day chart that is suggesting that we see a very good or very bad August, a very volatile August is what we'll see. Now, I believe we'll see a good August, but we'll look into that in a second, and then we'll look into this chart here. In fact, we'll start with this chart here. This is the range-bound chart on Bitcoin. This chart is identifying the major Bitcoin ranges. We have red, we have orange, we have yellow, right? And what these are, these three ranges here, are ultra bearish in red, okay? Kind of like the neutral range in orange, and then the semi-bullish range in yellow, but mostly just like the consolidation range, the in-between zone, I should say. And then above the yellow range, we have the bullish territory, okay? And below the red range, we have the death zone, basically. I mean, they're even worse than bearish, right? That's new lows down there. So how do I kind of come up with this range? Well, it's pretty simple to come up with this range. Basically, the top of the yellow range is the bottom of the bull market range. So the bull market range was obviously this range over here, and every time we came down on a correction, a major correction during the bull market, we tested this yellow range for support and held it, and these wicks dug deep into the yellow range to grab liquidity before bouncing and springing upwards. This happened on 2 occasions, one of which lasting a month, one of which lasting 3 months, and then also it almost happened over here, by the way. And then once we finally dipped into this yellow range and tried to grab liquidity once more for an upside bounce, the cycle was over. And so instead of grabbing it for an upside bounce, we actually rejected from the top of the yellow range after falling into it and dropped down into a fresh range, which is the orange range. And then we did the exact same thing. It's very important to understand how liquidity works, guys. We did the exact same thing, okay, grabbing liquidity at the top of the yellow range as we did with the red range. We grabbed liquidity at the top of the red range while in the orange range, okay, and bounced each time, and eventually it got too much. We couldn't hold anymore. We dropped into the red range, resistance support flip, consolidated for a while, found the bottom at 15.4K, went upwards, found the same resistance as we were finding at the top of the orange range, bottom of the yellow range, finally broke above that, and we've been consolidating for 4 months ever since in a range between 2 price points. And these 2 price points are the most major things you will hear me say. They are the most important things you'll hear me say. The 2 price points are specifically exactly 24.5K and vaguely 32K, okay? If you want to write down 2 numbers on Bitcoin, and you want to set 2 alerts on Bitcoin, and you want to just look at 2 things and just not look at any of this consolidation between, the numbers you need to look at are exactly 24.5K and vaguely 32K. The reason why I say vaguely is because it's hard to be precise. It's been a level that we've tested for years now. It's been a level we've tested since January 2022. We've seen many wicks up, down, fake outs up, down. It's very hard to be precise about where exactly that resistance is, but it's somewhere around 32k. And trust me, when we break it, we will know. But we certainly know that the support that we need to be seeing held is 24.5k. That is an absolute certainty. So that is the range for Bitcoin, 24.5k to 32k. Now, knowing that, and contextualizing that in the short-term move, we can see that the consolidation we've been seeing in the daily chart has obviously, as per what we just looked at, has been occurring in between these two ranges. I've got the bottom of the range marked in green, the top of the range marked in red. Again, 24.5k, 32k roughly. And this entire move has been seen basically bouncing between these ranges. We finally broke above it after resistancing, finding resistance there. We broke above it. We bounced off the top of the range. We came down, bounced off the bottom of the range. We bounced off the top of the range again. Now we're like halfway through falling, and we've kind of made a slight deviation to the upside, and we've got a RSI support line here that's been stemming back from March 2023. We've been testing that over and over again. We actually came down and tested that on a wick just yesterday. This blue line here is the monthly candle close. I'll delete that now, it's not really relevant anymore. And we've kind of gone upwards here, and we're trying to break to the upside, but we have that RSI resistance line there, showing us that it's not necessarily over. Yes, we've seen a short-term move, and yes, if we're looking at 4-hourly chart, we've seen a break above something that resembled, I don't know if it exactly matched descending channel formation, but in pink you can see it, something that resembled descending channel formation. Regardless of what it actually was, it's just hard to identify the top line. Regardless of what it actually was, what we certainly have done is we've broken back into the previous bearish formation, right? We had a major, look at the yellow line on the screen here, the yellow lines on the screen. We had a major ascending, broadening wedge formation. Now this is a bearish formation. This is what you see at the top of ranges. This is what you see at the top of moves to the upside. We saw that it broke to the downside, and we saw constant resistance support flips, constant retests. The bears just didn't have the strength. They didn't have the strength to drag Bitcoin down, and we didn't see the full extent of this move. And as expected, we broke back into this formation. Okay, and right now we're back into it. We're back above it now. Whether or not we saw a breakout of the pink descending channel formation that I just deleted there, whether or not we saw a breakout of that or not, whether or not that even existed is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is we invalidated a bearish drop. We were meant to see more downside price action. We did not see it. We broke back into the formation. That's good news, but that's all we can say about it at this point in time. We haven't seen enough time pass for that move. We haven't seen enough consolidation yet. We haven't seen enough progression in price action yet to really analyze it too much. What I will say is that it's not guaranteed to be good. We could be forming a bearish bat formation, which is basically a fake W pattern, and it leads to a downside move, and we could be seeing a retest of support again. That's a possibility, but right now it's hard to deny the bullishness of this move in the short term. It also is equally as hard to look into it any further than that. What I can say is this: we certainly haven't confirmed that we will be seeing a break above this range yet from short-term perspective. Okay, and we certainly have not really confirmed that we have seen the kickoff of that bullish August yet, okay, or that big August yet. What do I mean by that? Why do I think there's going to be a big August? Why do I think August is going to be massive? Two reasons, okay, two very clear reasons. Right now, for the second time in history, in fact, we actually just deleted the monthly chart. I need to bring it back for a second here and show you what I mean. For the second time in Bitcoin's entire price history, we are seeing, let me bring it up, we are seeing a monthly chart Bollinger Band, okay, compression. This is only the third time, sorry. We've only seen it. We've seen 3 cycles, to be clear. 3 bull markets, 3 bear markets. We've only seen this 3 times. 3 Bollinger Band compressions, where these Bollinger Bands, these blue bands here, compress tighter. They move towards each other. We've seen it, okay, over here in 2016. We saw it over here in 2020, and we're seeing it right now. Now, again, this is only the third time in history, and both previous times, look at when it's happened. It's happened when we've broken above the red resistance line in the monthly chart. That's happening again this time, and preceding, okay, or afterwards, I should say succeeding the Bollinger Band compression, we see the bull market start to kick off. Not instantly, with that said, in 2016 it didn't happen instantly. In fact, it took, a couple of months before the halving, and in 2020 it happened after the halving. Now it's happening significantly before the halving. But the fact of the matter is, we've only seen it 2 times in history. We're seeing it again on the monthly chart. It's happening after the break above the red line, the break above the previous bull market support zone. This is bullish. This is good news. And regardless of whether it's bullish or not, regardless of whether you think it's bullish or bearish, the fact of the matter is, it is occurring, and Bollinger Band compression on the monthly monthly chart cannot be ignored. It means one thing. It means that we are going to be seeing a big move soon. I believe that move will be starting sometime in August. It doesn't necessarily have to have started yet, but it certainly will be starting in August. It does stand to reason that it certainly could have started now. It does stand to reason that this move now could have been it. We've seen dramatic volatility on the daily candle, most volatility we've seen in 14 days. We know that volatility, or low volatility I should say, and compression leads to big moves, and we've seen the lowest volatility as per a 7-day moving average on Bitcoin spot, the lowest volume on as per a 7-day average on Bitcoin spot since 2020. We have also seen the 180-day moving average historical volatility dramatically decreasing, okay, starting in around April and, progressively descending since around the middle of 2021, or the start of 2021, I should say. All of this, right, low volatility, low volume, Bollinger Band compression, what does it point towards? It points towards a big move. How do we know that move is going to be in August? Well, we can look at daily chart RSI. We can look at the structure it's forming here on daily chart RSI. We've got a triangular formation forming. The apex of that triangle is the end of August. In fact, the last day of August is when it reaches apex, which means we'll need to see a trigger of that move, either the upside or downside within the month of August. We can also look at 3-day chart, and this is the most convincing, chart that shows us that something big is coming in August. If we're looking at logarithmic on the 3-day chart, let's look at it. Logarithmic chart on the 3-day. What do we usually do in bull markets and bear markets? What do we usually do in cycles? We form these solid yellow uptrending logarithmic support lines that last, generally speaking, a very long period of time. We've looked into these extensively in the past. I'm not going to spend too much time digging into the future, but generally they last a long while. They hold for support for a dramatic period of time. We see a bull market off of them, we come down, break them in the bear market. Hold for support for a dramatic amount of time, bull market off of them, break them down in the bear market, and a similar thing here in 2020. The fact of the matter is we don't need to hold this for years and years and years. That's not necessarily the case. That's not necessarily the trend. But the fact of the matter is we do have an uptrending logarithmic support line that we've held on 3 separate retests now. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and we have a downtrending dotted yellow line that we've formed in similar fashions in previous cycles. Okay, and that is coming from the first top in 2021, going through to multiple wicks, going through to multiple upside and downside wicks, I should say. I'm circling a few of them now. And you can see that's a very, very relevant resistance line. And so putting these 2 logarithmic lines together, what we actually get is a triangular formation. And what we get is the apex of that triangle formation, just like the apex of a daily chart RSI, ending on the last day of August. What does that mean? It means we need to see a major move within the month of August, whether it be upside, whether it be downside. I personally think it will be upside. I think that's what the historical trend indicates, but it's not guaranteed by any means. And as you guys know, we're breakout traders. We wait for the breakout before making any major financial decisions, and that's what we will do here. But yes, I do personally think it will be upside. I don't think there is necessarily a cyclical obligation for it to be upside, and so it makes my prediction less prominent than other predictions I've made. But personally, if I had to guess, I would say it would be upside. I also believe that we're seeing a similar kind of triangular pattern on the 3-day RSI. Yes, we broke down and saw a fake out here, but I do believe it is still valid. And that ends for compression in December, but ultimately I think we'll break that out in August, just like the way we're going to break out all these other things. We've seen a test for support recently on it, and so that is another indicator that makes me believe it will be an upside break. And finally, if we're looking at another trigger for a major move in in August, we have a golden cross on the 3-day 50 moving average and 200 moving average. These crosses have been historically very, very relevant. If we're looking at when we've seen def crosses, just going back to 2018, for example, we saw a def cross leading to a major drop, golden cross after a major move to the upside. And then we saw, if we're looking at the next one, a def cross, which happened at the same time as a major drop during the bear market. We're seeing a golden cross again. If we scroll back, we could show you more historical data. Generally speaking, these golden crosses and def crosses are very important. They don't necessarily lead to moves, but they are indicative, or they do imply moves, or moves do occur which lead to them. So it's not necessarily an indicator that would show us that we're going to go upwards for sure, but it is an indicator that would show us that volatility is on the way. That's what it's historically said, right? I don't necessarily like simplifying def crosses and golden crosses to, golden crosses are really good and def crosses are really bad. I don't think that's necessarily true. If we're looking historically, these patterns, you know, these drops and these pumps don't happen because of the crosses. They happen because of the patterns that are emerging, and the crosses happen as a result of these patterns, right? For example, we saw an ascending channel formation here, which led to the drop, which preceded the def cross itself. The def cross occurred because of this pattern, okay? The drop didn't occur because of the def cross. But that's just a bit of nuance there if you guys are interested. The point of the matter is we've seen a golden cross. That is a good thing, broadly speaking, and the fact that it's happening within these structures is probably indicative of the fact that we might be breaking this to the upside. Okay, so basically, guys, I'm going to end the video there because I've been going on for ages and ages, but I have a lot more to discuss in tomorrow's video, and I have a lot more to discuss in regards to short term. I really want to dig into the short term in tomorrow's video because we've looked into the long term quite a lot, so look out for that. But guys, I think I'll end the video there. Before we end the video, please stick around for the following notes. Check out the Bitget exchange. It's got 5 times lower fees than Binance. It's optional KYC. You can sign up from anywhere in the world selecting other as country of origin and using a VPN if you're from the United States of America. But anywhere in the world, guys, very, very low fees and even lower fees with a 15% trading fee discount that I offer you with my exclusive referral link. I did not reach out to these guys for a partnership. They did not reach out to me for a partnership, I should say. I reached out to them for a partnership, and this was over a year ago now. So I've been using this exchange for about a year and a half, and I've had no problems so far. In fact, I really, really enjoy using it, and it's got very, very low fees. So get onto that exchange with my referral link below. Get that exclusive discount reward. Crypto Academy, if you want to learn how to trade, this is the place you can do it. Become a trader. 10-unit course will teach you everything you need to know about trading in terms of market patterns, indicators, candlestick patterns, market psychology, risk management, how to find trades. It's all there. Check out the website. All the information is on the website, including the email address where you can contact us there, ask any questions, and request payment information. And then finally, guys, the VIP group. I have it on Telegram. It's an altcoin trading VIP group with a 79% win rate, over 120 trades historically. The trading results have been released. You can see our historical trading results. Again, 79% win rate is very, very good. That's 4 out of every 5 trades reaching profits, which is absolutely sensational from a win-loss perspective. In fact, you're not really going to get much better than that from a mathematical standpoint. So check that out. If you're interested in trading altcoins, you can find the Telegram information group below, and you can read up all the information about the exchange, find the results, etc. Thank you for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.